Welcome to the Simple Shot Commentary. My name is Alan Velasco, and here I'll be discussing how and why the game ended up being the way it is. To start things off, here is my very first rough sketch of the game. As you can see here, it originally had a player character on the screen along with the basket, and the way you would play is you would kind of touch the ball and drag it back, and however far back you took the ball would determine how high and how far the ball would go. Once I actually started to make the game, I kind of started to run into some problems, namely my lack of artistic ability, as you can see from the rough sketch. My first problem was not being able to animate that player character as well as I would have liked. So I ended up just saying, well, let me see if I can come up with something else, maybe a little launching pad or something like that. And once I tried that out, I thought, well, how am I going to let players interact with that launching pad and determine how far and how high the ball goes? So I thought, well, I could have a little mechanism similar to what they have in football games when they kick a field goal, like a little meter that would determine how far and how high it would go. But then I thought, well, that's really getting away from the original concept, which is supposed to be a very simple game. So that is why there's just now a ball and a basket. This is in essence the first stage. Now, I was trying to think of a way of adding more value to the game in order to give players a sense of that they didn't just spend money on just one stage. So I started kicking around the idea of having a scoring system. But once again, that kind of takes away from the whole simple shot concept of this is a quick game that I can start playing and then stop at any time, or just something that I can play to relax myself. Once you put in a scoring system, it becomes very competitive, and the whole simple casual game kind of goes away, in my opinion, anyway. That's why I decided to create two more stages. The second stage is the wind gust stage, and when the player is throwing the ball, there'll be a random wind gust that kind of comes in and kicks the ball back. So I was hoping to have that as a little bit of a challenge without it being just a cheap game mechanism, and I hope it works out that way. At the bottom of the stage, you actually see the word wind, and that's just my way of letting players know there is in fact wind in that level. Again, my lack of artistic talent pretty much led me to do that because I was trying to kick around some ideas of how I would put that across the player that is in fact win there. And I thought about maybe putting some dashes going across the screen or some kind of wind meter, but at the end it just would take away from that artistic aesthetic that I already had going on. As for the third stage, it actually started out as a windmill, kind of very similar to the obstacle you see in the third stage now. It was actually spinning. The reason it's stationary now is because when I try to make it a windmill, the physics weren't quite working out the way I had hoped. The ball would kind of go through, or sometimes it would just act really wonky. So I thought, well, why don't I just have it stationary? And that's what I did. And while testing it, I felt like it was a pretty good obstacle to have as the last stage. Well, that's basically it for the Simple Shot commentary. If you purchased the game on the iTunes App Store, thank you. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you'd like to end up getting the game after seeing this, then check out the description below for the link. Thanks.